Hello, and welcome to the teaching video guide for PRUDMET's workshop number 4. How to implement technology in learning easily. This workshop is based on the pillar, delivering learning and assessment through technology, and aims to support the development of the competency, enable student independence and innovation in learning through digital technologies. As we all know, implementing technology in university education can be a challenging process, as it requires a significant investment of time and resources. This, coupled with the challenge of diversity in the classroom in terms of disability, background and/or digital abilities, can make the learning process a difficult one for many of our students. In this module, we will introduce the Universal Design Learning Framework, a methodology to facilitate the implementation of technology in our teaching and learning processes. This framework was originated as a response to neurodiversity in the classroom, and consists on a set of 9 guidelines to support the lecturer in making decisions to reduce barriers to instruction when using technology. The module is connected with the pillars Content and Curricula and Teaching and Learning Practices of EU's DIG-CompOrg model. This workshop is thus addressed to HE staff but focused on the student's experience, with a very hands-on approach. The learning objectives and expected outcomes of these workshops are 3. To design learning interventions using technology meeting all students' needs, preferences and abilities. To explain how technology can be a useful instrument to guarantee that all learners may achieve the expected goals. And to learn how to transform courses by embedding technology in learning interventions in an efficient manner. To achieve these goals, the module is divided into 4 parts. First, an overview of technology in university education will be provided, followed by an explanation of the Universal Design Learning Framework. Then, the main part of the workshop will be a 40-minute-long activity in which the staff will have a chance to this framework into practice, to finish with a time for reflection and discussion. Before the session starts, HE staff will be provided with the Universal Design Framework to get familiar with its contents, principles, guidelines and levels. Also, we would like to start with an introduction activity in which we'll explain the purpose of the module, the methodology to be used and how it is embedded in the PRUDMET project. The attendants will have a chance to present themselves and share stories about any problems they might have faced in their instruction due to class diversity. We are all aware there are multiple technologies that can be used in the classroom for different purposes, i.e., LMS, learning management system, and online platforms, collaborative technologies, virtual reality, gamification, and so on. A Mentimeter activity can be used to help the instructors realize how diverse themselves are. They will have answer questions about their digital competences, their background and their learning preferences. The trainer will then present some ideas about the use of technology in university-level education. They will also enumerate a few examples and ask the attendants to provide their own. These questions come to mind, then. Are all technologies susceptible to being properly used by all students? Does everybody have the ability and the means to use these tools? Do we actually have to use all these technologies? Is it really necessary to bring fancy tech to the classroom just because? Is it a fashion? And if we do use them, can we implement them in an easy way? For us, but above all, for the students? The Universal Design Learning Framework is an educational framework that aims to design instruction, materials, and environments in a way that maximizes the learning potential of all students, regardless of their individual differences or needs. This methodology was developed in the US in the 1990s as a way to bring everybody into the learning process in an equal manner. It is based on the idea that goal definition, together with strategy planning, lesson contents, learning activities and instructional materials and methods, including evaluation processes, initial, continuous and final, should be flexible enough to accommodate these differences. The session should then introduce the 3 principles and 9 guidelines of the Universal Design Learning Methodology, for which we recommend to go to the CAST website. The 3 principles are: multiple means of representation. The teacher must take into account the perceptual aspects of the learning process, namely the language, expressions, and symbols used. Multiple means of action and expression. The teacher must find learning paths that require the least amount of physical effort from the students in their expression and communication tasks. Multiple means of engagement. Teachers must develop different ways to capture the students' interest, maintain their effort and perseverance and promote students' self-regulation. It is important to notice that the fact that we are talking about multiple does not mean the introduction of several technologies at the same time. Instead, the teachers should focus on the identification of those tools that are feasible for the majority, if not all, students. Therefore, less will probably be more, since effort will be laid on a few technologies that are used to maximum effect. The instructor must show different examples of this methodology in practice at different educational levels and contexts, for better comprehension. Here we can see the principles and guidelines of the Universal Design Framework as posted on the cast.org website. Obviously, we do not intend for the staff to accomplish all of these during this workshop, since it is a matter of scaffolding from the very basics, such as opting for free technologies as AA solution for Guideline 4.2 physical action, optimize access to tools, to more complex means such as using online, cooperative assessment rubrics for Guideline 9.3 self-regulation, develop self-assessment and reflection. Learn how to transform courses to use technology by embedding technology in learning interventions in an efficient manner. Therefore, there are some concepts that need to be cleared, such as the difference between accessible and assistive technologies. The first one refers to things like software and websites that are designed to be used with screen readers, hardware devices with large buttons or easy-to-use interfaces, and other technology that is designed to be usable by people with a wide range of abilities. The latter one may include everything from specialized software and hardware, to devices and tools that are used to help with communication, mobility, and other aspects of daily living to enhance the functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. Both are equally interesting for the purposes of this module. In addition, even though it is not part of this particular workshop, the staff must be familiar with the idea of perceived ease of use, or the degree to which a person believes that using a particular system would be free from effort. All these concepts will help understand how the implementation of technology in the learning process is susceptible of falling under this approach, as a way to ensure that all learners, notwithstanding their digital abilities or backgrounds, can use these technologies in an easy manner. Once we have the theory of the Universal Design Learning Framework covered, we can start with the explanation of the process, which is the very same one that will be deployed in the practical activity. When introducing classroom technologies, the successful deployment of this framework starts off with a simple issue. Consider what you want to accomplish and how you can use technology to do so. This process is just an information gathering technique that in 3 stages. 1. To define appropriate goals that allow for multiple means of attainment. 2. To assess diverse learner needs, and 3. To identify and evaluate any barriers that may exist within the current curriculum and context. With this information we can start with the practical part of the workshop. We are finally ready to start with the main activity of the workshop. This activity should take about 40 minutes in total, and it consists on an exercise where the staff will reflect on their own teaching practices. In teams of 3, a lesson plan must be adapted to the UDL framework addressing the use of technology in an easy manner for a diverse audience. To do so, the staff will use the 3-step methodology in a specific context, such as a course one of the team members is teaching at the moment, or a course taught in a recurrent manner. The instructor will offer the fact sheets provided in the website we can see on screen as examples and possible templates for the activity. The teams will use this information to develop a joint technology-based universal design learning approach with, at least, one option per guideline. Then, a group discussion will be set up regarding the challenges of introducing these proposals to the rest of the group, trying to identify which barriers might be faced when deploying these changes, and how we can facilitate their implementation. The trainer will choose how to lead this discussion. They could do a brainstorming, use Padlet, or Mentimeter, or simply an organic conversation. We expect the staff to be creative and positive during this activity. There are no bad ideas. Also, the trainer must note any tips or suggestions that may come up during this for the final recap. And with this we come to the end of the workshop, a review of what has been learned in this module. We can see on the screen a few recommendations and suggestions that could serve as a starting point on how they could implement the UDL framework in their teaching delivery within their university or area, how they can maximize the impact of technology in their students' learning process, and how they will work to further develop their own engagement, action and expression and representation skills. For instance, staff should remember that technology is merely a support, a tool, which is also covered in the first workshop. Also, the staff must make sure to identify those tools that are feasible for the majority, if not all, students. Popular, free, versatile. Ease of use is key. They should also recall that they are not alone. therefore let's not forget the power of learning and teaching networks, as seen in workshop number 2. And last, but not least, remind the staff to always consider the safety and confidentiality of both students and teachers, to prevent resistance to the use of technology. These are but a few of the main ideas that could arise from the discussion. We are sure the group will be very prolific. Here you may see a few references to support the workshop contents. There is a vast array of materials that can be used, and papers to read, but it is very important not to overwhelm the staff with extra information. And, yes, that is also a recommendation that stems from the Universal Design Learning methodology. Thank you for listening to this video guide. We hope it is of assistance. We also appreciate your interest in the PRUDMET project and we hope you continue to learn with us. Until the next workshop,